Dear friends, welcome to my video. In this video, we'll see how to live stream the video from camera using the new API, Create Capture Session API in your Android app. So this, if you are using the older API, that is deprecated. So we'll see the how we can use the new one in the latest version of Android. So let's start. Create a new project, empty activity. Next, you can name the same thing, Camera App, and the settings I'll leave it as it is. Click finish, wait for the environment to load. It may take a while, so I'll pause the video for a moment. Once the environment loads up, first and foremost what I'll do is I'll update the manifest file to get the permission for the camera. Okay, so you use this permission and it'll off camera. Yeah. And the other thing probably what I'll need is also to use feature, and that is Android name camera. Yeah. So this will be fine unless you give it you don't use the feature, use permission will give error because this is a hardware, right? So you have to enable that over there. And then before I proceed further, I'll also update this seek the permission from the end user in the onCreate method for camera. So that will be activity compact dot request permissions, and activity offers this, and the string, right? So you can make a string array. No, then over here we can of course use the not a camera service but a camera, and then what else, and request code will be package manager dot permission granted. Yeah, perfect. And in this camera we may have to yeah, include this, so just press alt enter, and it is asking whether we should include permission group or permission, so go for permission, not the group one. Okay, yeah, so this is fine. Now I will start my emulator also in parallel on the right hand side, so it can come up. I don't think we have to do anything in the Gradle file, so that's fine. I can just minimize this part, and now I'll go to the my layout. So first and foremost, what I don't need the textures. I'll just remove this, and what I'll need is something called texture surface text. So this is a place where we'll show our preview of the camera. Okay, so let it come up. Okay, so if you notice on the right hand side, my app is coming up. It's asking whether we need to give access to camera app, yeah, camera or not. So just say yes by using this app, and yeah, that's fine. So my app is coming on the right hand side. I'll just minimize this and keep it on the right hand side. Yeah, now coming back to my layout, so I'll just bring this preview somewhere on top of my, somewhere here. You can choose this shape and size, it doesn't matter. Yeah, perfect. So now I'll give the respective attributes to this. So one is the constraints you have to give, and apart from that, ID is already there, TextureView. So we'll be using that in our Java code, and we can add a couple of buttons. One is the start camera and end camera probably. So this will be okay. First I'll give the constraints, and then a start camera, and one more button I'll add quickly below this, which will basically a stop camera. Yeah. So once done that, alignment and all those things you can take care. That's not critical, but yeah, still. And now if I go to the Java code, and first and foremost I create this two public method, public void and button start camera. I just press alt enter to import the required libraries, and the other one will be public void button stop camera. Perfect. So if I go back to the layout quickly, I'll associate those methods to these buttons. Okay, so in the on click attribute you can set like this. Perfect. So if I go to the stop camera, the other one, you also can set the stop camera. So now both the methods are associated with the respective buttons on click. Before I proceed, I'll create few class variables quickly. One will be the texture surface, right? Texture surface view, and I can put it texture view. Any variable name you can give local variable. And then in the onCreate method itself, what I will do is I'll associate this texture view to the right widget in the layout by associating it with the ID, the respective ID in the layout. Yeah. Now if I proceed further, I'll have to create other class variable. So I'll just one by one create. So one will be private camera capture session. What else I need is probably I'll need some kind of ID also. So I'll create that. That will be of a string type. So string, string, yeah, string camera ID. Okay, then what else I need is camera manager. So private camera manager and camera device. So I think that's all. Oh, one more thing I can probably create here as a class variable is the builder. So capture request dot builder. So I'll just do one thing. Capture request builder. Yeah. So I think that's all in terms of class variables. We'll see. We'll use all of these in some way or other in our method. So let me proceed. But before I proceed, I'll do a couple of things. One is like I will create the camera manager. So this camera manager, right? So let me first initialize that here in the onCreate method itself. So this will be nothing but it will take the system service, right? This will get system service, and the service which it will try to fetch is camera service. Yeah, perfect. So it may ask you to typecast, just do it. Yeah, typecast, that's fine. And once you have this camera manager, then what we can do is we can start the camera. Okay, so probably a start camera. There is no such method. I'll just create a method, but first I'm just putting it here, and then it may ask me to create a method. So create a method, and in this method we'll start the camera, which is basically initialize all the required stuffs. So first and foremost, I'll assign my this camera ID, right? So string camera ID. This could be nothing but from camera manager we can fetch the camera list. So there is something called get camera ID list, and it will be an array form. So I think 0 is for front and 1 is for back, or vice versa. But anyway, I'm going for the first one. Okay, so it's giving me some error. Probably it's asking me to add the try catcher. Please do that. And apart from that, what else we need is we need to use this camera ID to open the camera. So open camera is the method here, and if you see what we can use is camera ID, then say something called state callback and then handler. Okay, so I think we'll use this first one, and camera ID we already have from above, and the second is the state callback. So this we can probably define just now. So let me define this state callback. So what I can do is I can probably go out of this method here, and I can define it again as a private variable. So camera device dot state callback, and this could be nothing but new camera. Perfect. Yeah, so it will define all the this methods, override methods, so we can use this to define our or yeah. So camera device, so we'll use all this to camera device. I hope it makes sense because this is a local variable and this is this variable. So I'm not sure if I use the same variable. So the variable name is same. So to separate it out, what I will do is probably I will do something here. I'll change it to something my camera device. Okay, and if I come back here, then I can assign the class variable the value of the camera device what is being yeah, written from here. And then this, if it's disconnected, then what I can do it is probably I can just simply close it. So I think I can use this close, and similarly for this one I can use close, and then also I can set it to null. So yeah, perfect. Okay, so my state callback is done. If I go back to my displays, so what I had to do, give a state callback, and then third argument is handler, which I think I can do now. Yeah, perfect. Again, it's giving some error. Let me see, add permission check. So please do that. I think it will just check whether I have the permission for camera or not. That's fine. That Android studio is taking care for me. So this method is done. So this will be responsible for opening my camera at the start itself and assigning. So now I can go to my button start method here. Now over here, first let's create the surface out of yeah, our the texture. So there is something called surface texture, and I can use this surface texture from the texture view whatever we have got above to get the surface out of it. So get surface texture over here. Now from this surface texture we can create the surface itself, and yeah, surface. So this will be using this as an input to create the surface. So we can use probably this one and pass the above as an input. So this will create the surface from the surface texture, which is basically the texture views get surface texture. Once we have the surface, then what we can do is we can start building our yeah. I think first the builder we can use that, and what we can do it is we can camera device, and this we can use this to create capture request. So this is what I was saying, that this has changed the capture request. So we can use this one, and the capture request could be camera device dot template preview. Yeah, this is again asking me probably to add try catch. Yeah, do that. And once we have this, then what we can do it is we can use this to capture our preview. So what I will do is first now is I will create this capture request builder dot add target, and the target is the surface what we have created above. Okay, and once we have it, then we can start creating our session. But for creating that session, okay, first let me show you the API what we have to really use. So for that we have to go to the camera device dot create capture session. So this is what I was saying, that this has got deprecated. So okay, so right now what we are going to use the session configuration. The previous was this one. So this I used my previous tutorial as well. If I quickly go to the browser, so this was my previous video in this, and over here if I scroll down, I have used the older versions of this. So uh, yeah, this create capture session, and this is the older version. So this was valid that time when I create this tutorial, but in the latest version, okay, if I go to the this Android developer page, so create capture session, so this has been added in API level 28, and if I scroll down, I think the previous one was has been deprecated from API level 30 onwards, if I'm not wrong. So let me quickly go down. Yeah, so if I go here, so this is what I was using earlier, and this is deprecated in API level 30. Anyway, so we'll be using the new one. So if I go back to my environment here, so it asks me to create something called session configuration. So let's create first that, and then we'll come back to this one. So we create something called session configuration, new session configuration. So this is the constructor of session configuration. So we need something called session type, output configuration, executor, and blah and blah. So let's do one by one. So we select this, and the first is session type. So for session type, we can use something called session regular. Perfect. Then my second input is something called output configuration. So what we'll do is quickly we'll go up again and we'll create something called output configuration. Output configuration, new output configuration, and then I think here we have to give the our target. I was looking for some hint here. So what we have to give is the camera 2 params. Okay, so what we can do is we can give the surface as the input over here, which is basically our target where we want to display. So once we have our output configuration done, so what we can do over here is we can insert that over here, but that will be as a in an array form. So for that, what we can do is we can use this collections dot single on list, and I think here I can put output configuration. Perfect. So now it's done. The next is executor. So here you can either create another thread or you can use a main executor as well, which is basically the main line of the this particular app. So I'll be using that. And then last is the set callback. So we can define a new set callback here, new, and camera capture session set callback. I think this should be fine. Yeah, perfect. And it has already given me the required methods also. So at the end I'll just give full stop and on configured and on configure fields. So these two are what we have to update. So first let me update the on configured one. So here again I think I'll land up in the same problem because camera capture session is something a class variable also, and over here also let me check if I can change the name of this in the class variable from this one to something called my camera capture. So yeah, so usually I follow the standards like that, but yeah, here I think I might change it. And if I scroll down again, so what I'll have to do over here is use the class variable, which is basically my camera capture, to assign it to this one, camera capture session over here. And then I can use this to set my capture request builder, and this I can set the target add target. The surface I've already added, so here I'll be just setting the other things, which is basically the object key, and that could be probably capture request dot, I think control mode I can use. Yeah, so I'm not sure why it went like that. Yeah, this is what I can use, and the other input will be okay. I think it went off, but nevertheless I know it will basically camera metadata and control mode auto is what we can use. Perfect. So once we have set the property of the builder, then we can ask this to uh, capture my start the capturing. So for that I camera capture session, not this one, I think the local variable, my camera capture session dot set repeating. Here you'll get lots of options, so I'll just go for not for the burst but the simple one, set repeating request, and the first will be the camera capture request. So that is basically builder dot build, and then other two inputs I think I can give them. Yeah, perfect. So it's again asking probably to add try catch or something. Please do it. Yeah, no problem. Okay, so I think this part is done. Now I can go to the when it's failed what to do. I think we can leave it empty also, or if you really want you can just set it to none. Yeah. And now if I come here, so I think now our session configuration is defined, so we can come back over here. And last is this particular method, that what to do when it's, yeah, when the camera has been stopped. So in that case, what I can do it is my camera capture session, and I can ask it to abort the captures. I think so I can ask you to add the try catch. Please do that. And I think that's all if I'm not wrong. So let me run this app in the Android, my emulator, and see how it comes up. So if I bring this up bigger, so start camera, perfect. If you see, of course this is a virtual video on the emulator Android. You should reduce it. If I stop it, stop. If you notice, it is no more moving. If I click it again, it's again started moving. So I can stop it, move it, perfect. Yeah, so this is what I wanted to show, how easy it is. Of course, it's a in my previous videos also I have shown it. It's how we can capture it, but in this I have used the latest API, which is not deprecated, because many people were asking about this one, that this has got deprecated the create capture session. So how to use the new one? So in this video it answers that question. Yeah. So I hope this video is useful to you. If you have any questions or suggestions, please put in the comment section below. And if you like this video, then please subscribe to my channel.